Welcome back to Bazaar Morning Call. As promised, we're going to talk about Deepak Fertilizers now. Just pull up the stock on your screen. It's up nearly 100% from the lows that we saw in March this year. And it is the reason for that is because it's one of the two producers of IPA in the country. Remember, IPA is used to make sanitizers, and in the heat of the lockdown, sanitizers were selling like hotcakes. So let's find out about this and more about the business. We have Sailesh Mehta, the Chairman and Managing Director at Deepak Fertilizers, who joins us now. Mr. Mehta, good morning and thanks for being with us on the channel. Things are much different now compared to what it was at the start of the lockdown. So with respect to the IPA prices as well as the demand, have things petered off, and what is the situation right now?
Sure. So nice to be on the show. Thank you very much. Basically, there are 3-4 things that happened during the COVID period, not just on the IPA front. Of course, IPA was clearly, something that really jumped up in the first quarter. But our H1, we have had almost 4.5 times improvement over last year. And the reasons are, as you know, we are in 3 different sectors. One is fertilizer, and which is very beautifully linked to the India growth story of food security. Second is we are into industrial chemicals, where of course sits in IPA, and also other industrial chemicals, nitric acids for fine chemicals and others. And the third sector that we are into is technical ammonium nitrate. Again, this goes for industrial explosives, and once again, very beautifully aligned with the India growth story in terms of if India needs power, it needs coal. If it needs to grow, it needs cement, for which it needs limestone. And then, of course, infrastructure, which is roads and bridges and other things. All of it require technical ammonium nitrate. So during the COVID period, what we saw was, one was indeed because of the hygiene needs, the requirements of hand sanitizer came up, and that brought a huge demand for IPA globally and in India. We also saw excellent rains, and that brought in, I would say, very positive traction on the fertilizer scenery. And initially, the mining sector was a little low, impacted by COVID and other things, but that also has picked up substantially. So to answer your question, currently what we find is that the prices have indeed subdued, but they are back to the normal of the earlier days. And we see that the need for hand sanitizer as a new normal is going to remain, but not at the crazy levels that was there in Q1.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Mehta. Thank you very much for being with us. Can you therefore tell us what will be your capital requirements? Is there any PLI scheme that interests you? Or is there any need for capex because of China receding or giving up some of the space?
Mm-hmm. So basically, what we are finding is that all the 3 sectors that we are into, because of their beautiful alignment with the India growth story, the domestic play itself has been very, very interesting. And with that, we are looking at and actually, our growth plan was put in place after a lot of deliberations some 3 years back. We came up with a strategic thought process of what do we do for the next 10 years. And that's where we came up with 3 fundamental, I would say, shifts, 3 fundamental drives, if I might put it. So one was to get a size right. And as you know, Lata, size gives the advantage of raw material sourcing, logistics, manufacturing efficiencies, marketing efficiencies, and so on and so forth. So the first strategic driver was get the size right. The second was backward integration, and instead of importing our raw material, whether we could start manufacturing it, and that very well sits with Atmanirbhar thought processes that are there. I'll just come to specifics. And the third aspect, which is where I feel very passionate about, is a forward integration from products to solutions and somewhere from customer to consumer. And again, I'll explain in reference to the 3 sectors that we are into on that front. So over the last 3-4 years, we have put our head down and we have been working on these strategies. So we tripled our fertilizer capacity, which has been in production now since a year and a half. Last year we added another nitric acid complex. So with that, we are probably Asia's second largest in terms of merchant acids. We are now looking at another complex for enhancing our technical ammonium nitrate manufacturing. Again, that is going to sit very clearly into the Atmanirbhar schemes and requirements that are there, because for India to boost the coal production, and of course for cement, the limestone production.
Mr. Mehta, may I intervene? Mr. Mehta, may I intervene? Actually, we want to know more about financials, not so much Atmanirbhar. I mean, how will revenue fire up from here on? Is there a quantum leap in demand?
Sure. So what we are seeing, instead of just talking about the finances, I'm bringing across what are the basic drivers which will then lead to the financial gains. So with the tripling of fertilizer capacities, with the acid production going up, with the TAN production, we will be at the end of the expansion, we will be probably among the world's top 3 as far as the TAN manufacturing goes. So all of these volumes are naturally going to have a very strong impact on the top line and bottom line.
Now, what will be the run rate, both at EBITDA and revenue, over the next, say, 2-3 years?
So what is going to happen is, as far as the fertilizer and acid capacities goes, those are already in place, and that's where you have seen our H1 results, where all of this is somewhere now playing out. As far as TAN goes, we are some 30 months away in terms of the additional capacities. So those will be post that period. And, the run rate is there for all to see in terms of what H1 has already delivered.
Okay, that's about the business. I just have to ask you a query that a lot of investors have about the warrants lapsing. Apparently, the promoters recently let their warrants lapse. Do the promoters have enough funds for the warrants? And if not, is it true that they are going to subscribe to the rights issue and they have money for that?
Yeah, so that was the other thing that happened during the COVID period, that we had our rights issue and it was oversubscribed. And the promoters also put in all their, commitments plus some more. So that aspect of it, basically, we had, in place of the warrants, we had opted for the rights issue, and that is successfully behind us. So that was one more achievement during the H1.
So now, just coming to a more sort of pressing issue here and now. It seems that the Department of Fertilizers is holding back some quantum of subsidy because of a case that involves a bank guarantee with one of your subsidiaries, and the bank guarantee is to the tune of 310 crores. So if you could set the record straight, what is happening here, what is the issue, and how much subsidy is pending, if any at all?
Sure. So some 3 years back, the government had thought, and there was an allegation that us and a few other NPK manufacturers, 2-3 of us have made undue profits based on cheap gas. And we, of course, protested. We gave them a lot of data. Post that, I think there must have been at least 10 or 11 interministerial committee meetings. And also during that process, they had taken a view from an industry perspective, overall industry perspective, that what is a fair return, what is due profit. Instead of saying undue, let them define the due, and which they did. And what has happened is that the subsidies that were held back, part of the subsidies got paid in 2017 itself, and 310 crores was something that they had released to us, but on the basis of a bank guarantee. Now, and that bank guarantee was continuing all these years. So when the deliberations of the interministerial committee meetings were, completed, they found that indeed 3 of us have not made undue profit, neither has Deepak Fertilizer made any undue profit. And also then the Department of Fertilizer came to terms with what is due profit. And against that, they again compared and they said, well, the allegation is not something that holds water. But you know how it is that when we go back to the government to release our bank guarantee, somewhere private sector has been always a stepchild.
So
we
what's
had
happening to the subsidy? This 310 crores, this was subsidy due to you, right? So are you getting it anytime soon?
Yeah, so like I explained, that subsidy was released, but they had
Bank guarantee.
for a bank guarantee,
Okay.
just so that in case tomorrow they do find us guilty, that they don't have to run after us.
But you still have to
Now-
keep the bank guarantee.
Yes, so after all the studies, they found that the case does not hold. And very recently, we had gone to the High Court to seek their guidance to guide us and the Department of Fertilizer for releasing the bank guarantee. And I'm happy to share that last week, the High Court has ruled in our favor.
Okay.
And they have directed the Department of Fertilizer to release the bank guarantee in the next 4 weeks.
Got that, sir. Okay.
I am not comfortable to discuss more details because the
Okay,
legal
no.
order
Yeah.
is to come.
All right, got
Is
that,
yet
sir.
to.
Yeah, actually, we are out of time as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Mehta, for joining us with all those details. Let's take a quick break, and we have another important company joining us.